Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. We will wait a couple minutes to get started and let a couple more people get joined in. And we're also going to be joined tonight by Dr. Tanja Blazin. So pretty soon I will be inviting her into the meeting, and then we'll start our discussion. Don't forget that you guys can ask questions all throughout the live about anything that is related to your match application, whether you've applied yet or you did not apply. And we're going to answer all of those questions toward the end of the meeting. Just another second, guys. We're waiting for Dr. Tanja to come in. Maybe just a moment of technical difficulty here. And it looks like Tanya's trying to get in. Can you send a request one more time? Hope everybody is having a good night now that we've kind of made it past the big day of 9/29 and we're, getting ready for what's to come ahead, whether that's continuing with your program applications and thinking about what programs to apply to, or you're thinking about your interview prep. We're all at different places. Okay. We should have Dr. Tanja here momentarily.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. There's a little bit of a delay, I think, but it'll probably catch up here.
Okay, nice. How are you?
Hanging in there, definitely. Busy week for everybody, but busy in a good way. How about you?
Yeah, definitely, I agree. Yeah, I'm a bit tired as well, to be honest. I was working all day, so I can't wait for this day to be over.
That's understandable. And we're going to get through this live, right? Kind of maybe it's a good way to wind things down after a busy day and a busy week. And kind of our purpose tonight will be to really reflect on what the last week or 2 weeks have been like and how it's all come together and all of that types of discussion when it comes to where we're at in the match application process. So thanks to everybody who has joined. We had quite a few people right at the beginning, and people are still dropping in right now. So we're glad that you could tune in tonight. This is an important discussion. Like we were saying, we're talking with Dr. Tanja Blazin, who is a Match 21-22 applicant. So she's right there with everybody, has been working really hard in the last several weeks to get all of the supporting documents ready and get her application ready, set, go to apply by the 29th. And really, we're going to spend, most of the session kind of talking about what the application process was like for you, what struggles that you had, and kind of where you've landed and where you're at right now. And then at the end, we'll take any questions that came in.
Yeah, of course. So guys, feel free to ask anything you want, and we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. And I just first want to say that I'm impressed how you can say my last name. There's not a lot of people here who can pronounce it right.
Well, I practiced, so.
Yes. So I submitted my application last Friday, and I was really relieved after I submitted. I didn't have any setbacks. Everything went smoothly, and now I'm hoping that I will get interviews. I just wanted to talk about the EARS application itself a bit. I was lucky enough that all my letters of recommendation were uploaded on time, so I didn't have any problems to request my letters again or to be late with the letters. So I was able to assign them on time. Also, my faculty did amazing job, my university, with sending MSP and medical school transcript also on time, actually way ahead of time. They sent it, I think, in July. And my main problem was the RS application itself, filling out all the description boxes, and also my personal statement, because my personal statement was over 1 page long. And it was really important for me to be 1 page. I just imagined my personal statement to be very concise. And then I was spending a lot of time trying to rephrase it, to make it shorter, which was not an easy assignment because I really liked my personal statement, but in the same time I wanted to make it shorter, so I just had to find a way just to summarize it a bit. My ERAS application, I actually used the Residency Expert Service for editing, so I was really satisfied because I think we all need someone just to confirm that we did the right job or to fix some minor grammar mistakes or anything else. I think description box is really important and we should pay a lot of attention on it. I don't want to talk more about it because if people submitted it, now they cannot change it. So I don't want them to think that they made some mistakes. I wish we all match, of course, and that we all get interviews. And that will be it about my application. I don't know if anyone has any more questions. I'm certified on time as well. I was afraid that I will not be certified because I had to apply through Pathway 6. And I was really afraid it's not going to happen on time. But I was also surprised that the same moment when I applied for certification, it took maybe 4 to 5 days for my certificate to be issued, to be sent. So everything went perfectly.
And so as an IMG, you've shared with me that you do have some peers who are also IMGs and going through the same process with you. And you noted that, you know, your process was really smooth. There weren't really any hiccups or delays with anything. But that was not necessarily the case for everybody that you have gone through the process with, right?
Yes, exactly. I have 2 friends and they actually now have a huge problem because they're not certified yet. And they were just asking a lot of questions. Basically, the main problem for them was, is it okay for them to apply to a programs who are requesting certification by the time of application, or should they wait and then apply late to those programs when they get certification? So they were asking that question all around every Facebook groups, and they were trying to find out the answers. And then we ended up with this solution. So if program does not request certification by 29th, you should go ahead and apply definitely, and then ECFMG will notify the program when you get your certificate. On the other hand, if a program is really specific on their website that they need certification, that probably means they'll just filter people who do not have certification. So maybe the smarter decision would be just to wait for that certificate and then to apply 2 or 3 weeks later or even a month later, because then your application would be complete and then you would be maybe considered in that program. And if you send application to that program without certification, even though that's a requirement, then you can just be filtered, which I don't think it's a smart way to spend your money now. So I think it's smarter now just to wait and then to apply to those programs when you have your complete certification and documents and everything.
Yeah, I think that that is a pretty good strategy, you know, where you kind of have the 1-2 punch where you're going to do a little bit now and then a little bit later. And I think there's a lot of people, I know that I fielded a lot of emails and phone calls from people in the same boat where the ECFMG certification just didn't happen at the time that they'd hoped it would in time for that 929 to come and go. So I hope that a lot of people were able to think through a similar strategy and be able to really maximize the application process in that way, where it's really smart to kind of break down the needs of the program or the requirements of the program as well as their application deadline and separate things out. So I think
definitely.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing now? So you've gotten your applications out the door, you put that behind you. We had an interview for your residency prep vlog just the other day, and you said that you took the weekend off after submitting the applications on Friday. So now, as you go forward, what's on your plate?
So now I want to prepare for an interview, because even though I consider myself a talkative person, I just think it's not smart to go to the interview unprepared, because we already know some questions that will be asked for sure. So I think it's a really smart decision just to spend some time to prepare for the interviews. So I will try to look up on YouTube channel or anything, anywhere online, just to get some advices and to make some kind of strategy for me to answer those questions. And I also actually, that I can share with people, I actually found on Amazon some book how to prepare for a residency interview, and it's not so pricey, and it can help. I don't know. So I will definitely read that book, and if I like it, I will post it on my Instagram. I will recommend it for sure, because it's an easy read. It's not long, so I think it can help us get some ideas on how to approach some questions, because we can get a lot of different questions during the interview, and I'm sure nobody wants to mess up their opportunity, and we all want to present ourselves as the person we actually are. And I don't think we should also over rehearse, as I mentioned in my previous video, because I think it's really important to be natural. And I believe the residency program directors, they can see if you over rehearsed and if you're trying so hard to say those sentences that you just practice. So I think we should always have that level of natural behavior during, even though it's an online interview.
Yeah.
But also in the same time, I'll be sure to prepare not specifically the answers, but some ideas on what I will talk about. And also I start studying for my step 3. I just read announcement today that I'm not really happy about, that if people are planning to give step 3 and to get their scores by the match days, so by 16th of March, I think, they should take the exam by the end of December. So I don't know why the score report is delayed, but they just announced that the score report will be delayed. I actually plan to take it in January, but now I'll definitely schedule it for December, just to be sure to get my results by match day. So I don't know what's happening with that score report, but I will definitely start to study, because December is really close, especially because step 3 is 2 days long exam. So I'm planning to give it in the first week of December. So now for me, it's studying for step 3, preparing for interviews, and I'm actually working, that I might stop doing soon, because it's impossible for me now to do full-time everything. And that would be it for now.
Well, that's a lot for now. It's definitely, like you said, it's a bunch of full-time gigs on your plate and things to do. I think that probably a lot of people watching did not know the news update that you shared with us about step 3. So that is likely affecting a lot of people's plans as far as the dates that they were, or the time frame that they thought they had to have step 3 done by match day. So I guess this year has been one of unprecedented change, and that doesn't seem to be stopping between the supplemental applications and changing deadlines. And we know that, of course, step 1 is going to be in January, changing to pass-fail. So what was once a very set in stone process seems to be changing all the time and coming and at us from all different directions. So it's important, I feel like, to do sessions like this, lives where we're talking with people and everybody's getting to share what they're finding out, when they're finding it out, and we can talk about it and process it all together.
Yeah, exactly. Everything started changing after CS got canceled. I think all the plans of every people just changed. I actually planned to apply last year, because I passed my step 2 in July 2020. Okay. So I would be able to apply last year. I actually scheduled my CS, I started studying and everything. And then because they canceled CS, I was not eligible for any of the pathways last year, because I didn't have a license. and I just had to wait for this year. And this year is also full of surprises.
Yeah.
So I hope it will be good. I just wanted to mention for step 3, because I think a lot of people are planning to give step 3 as well. For me, it's important, as I already mentioned, because I want to ask for H-1B visa, and they require a step 3 score in order to be eligible for that visa. I just want to highlight that some programs have different deadlines for step 3. So for example, if you go to a specific program website, some of them specifically say, if you want to ask for H-1B visa, we need to have a step 3 score by 31st of December. Then other program says we have to have it by February. I don't know what is in February. I think by rank list, because we're doing a ranking in February. And other programs are saying just until match day. So there are different deadlines, and that's why this is changing a lot, this delayed in score report, because otherwise, if some programs are asking by March 16, I could just take it in January or February and I would have my score on time. But now I have to take it in December, and that means that I will probably not have it by the end of December. So all those programs who are requiring by 31st of December, I will not be eligible for that visa in that program. So I think it changes a lot, not just with studying, it also with other programs, if H-1B visa is important for you.
Yeah, I'm glad that you pointed that out too, because I think with all the changes and with all of the kind of the rush and everything that has led up to, you know, the 29th and then moving forward, maybe not everybody is in that mind frame yet where they're thinking that far ahead of time, especially if you're looking at the H-1B visa and all these different needs. So it is good to bring it to everybody's attention. It takes a village, as they say. What's that?
Yeah. Just to make notes so they know for later if they want to plan anything.
Right, right. So I think that let's take a look at a couple of the questions, if that sounds good to you.
Yes, I see a lot of hearts.
I do
Thank
too.
you.
Yes, hearts and smiley faces. Let's see, I'm gonna scroll down a little bit. Oh gosh, I'm just scrolling.
Yeah,
scrolling.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling as well. I don't see the questions. Okay.
Got lots of
hearts.
yes. Okay, I have one here. It says, when should we start reaching out to programs like letters of interest, and when is too soon?
That's actually something that I wanted to mention, because I think the opinions are very divided. So I will just say my opinion. Doesn't mean it's correct. Maybe I am wrong. It's just my personal opinion. But also, there is no rules, so I think you should make your own decision about that. In my opinion, it's not wise to send a letter of interest right now, because programs are overwhelmed. They usually have 3 or 4 or 5,000 applications, and they need some time to review the applications, to filter applicants, just to find their way to figure out who they're going to call for interview. And then if we start sending emails, like 100 or 200 of us, that we are interested in the program, I think they can just have an opposite effect. It can just annoy them. It's obvious that we're interested. We applied to that program. So I know for sure I will not send any emails right now. But on the other hand, in, let's say, 3 weeks or even a month, if I didn't get invitation from some specific place that I'm really interested in, I will definitely send an email saying, I'm sorry that I didn't hear back from you, and just to express my interest and maybe list a couple of reasons why I'm interested in that program. And then maybe they'll say, oh, we missed her application, maybe we'll revise her application again. It doesn't mean they're going to do that. Maybe they will not. But I think it has more sense to send it in 3 weeks or a month than now, because maybe they will call me for an interview anyways, even without an email. So I think it's wise to wait for some time. again, it's just my opinion. If you want to send, if that's really important for you, if you have a family member living in that city, or if you are going for a couples match, or if you have any other reason that you specifically want to be in that program, go ahead and send an email. But for me, I will just wait for sure for 3 weeks or a month. And then if I don't get invitations, then I'll just express my interest through email. And that's it. I don't know, do you agree or you have some other opinion?
No, we, and I'll speak on behalf of Match a Resident. We do agree with a very similar strategy that it is not a great idea to start contacting programs right now because they are, as you said, really elbow deep in applications and deciding who they're going to be communicating with and who they're not going to be, and maybe even, you know, taking in more applications as they're continuing to trickle in over the next several days. So if it's best, like you said, not to bother them. You run the risk of irritating them because they're busy. Because their volume is so high in terms of what they're looking at, if you send an email now, you also run the risk of it just getting missed, not even intentionally, but just kind of flying under the radar, which is the opposite of what you want. So that time frame of 3 to 4 weeks is really a nice spot to think about reaching out. And like you said, not reaching out to every single program that you haven't heard from, but those specific programs that you're really, really interested in and you're really hoping to hear back from, reaching out with a letter of interest, which I'll point out is really different than a letter of intent. And I'll explain that in a second, but the letter of interest where you are expressing your very specific interest in that program, and it has to be personal. It can't just be a couple of lines, hey, where are you? I want an interview. It's got to be genuine and it's got to have some research in it. You've got to show them that you know who they are and really make a point to help yourself stand out. So that's one thing. And then, of course, just not to be confused with letters of intent. And letters of intent are something that are going to happen after you have an interview with a specific program. And you are showing interest. So I think sometimes the letters get confused, but a letter of intent is meant to show interest after you've interviewed. So those would be a little bit later on in the season.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
I see some more questions.
Sure.
Is it worth it to give altitude exam for St. Mary Mercy Hospital of Michigan for interim residency? Well, I am not doing residency over there, to be honest, so I don't know, is it worth it for you specifically? I think that should be your decision. If you're interested in that program, then of course it's worth it. If not, like, I think that should be your decision. I don't know how to answer you to that question.
I would second that it's a very personal decision.
Yeah. The next one. What about the programs? We have some sort of connections with the PD. When do you think I should send out an email? For someone I've met and connected with on a residency fair or open house? Well, again, those questions are really personal. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what kind of connection you made. If you think you connected with them on a personal level, they remember you, you you left some impression or something, and if you feel comfortable in addressing a PD about your interest in that program, you can definitely send it. But if it was an open house with 300 people watching that and you were just one of them, it doesn't mean anything, you know. So I think it's still very personal and it should be your decision. It's really hard for me to give any kind of advice in these specific kind of situations.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
I think that, excuse me, I think that it is really important to consider the nature of your connection with the program director. So, you know, if you were on a first name basis and you knew this program director, not just for a quick rotation or the open house, like you said, then it could be appropriate to reach out at any point in time if you feel that level of comfort where they're going to immediately recognize your name. And maybe they've even told you, definitely apply, reach out to me to remind me. And if you've had those types of conversations, then that is a different scenario than just kind of loosely having a connection and you're hoping that they will remember your name. If that's the case and it's more on the less personal connection side, then I would say, just like Tanya and I were talking about before, wait until near the end of October, and that's a more appropriate time to reach out to try to remind them of you, of the connection.
Yes. I also saw some other question. Do you think taking step 3 will be beneficial if I'm already a citizen? Well, taking step 3, I think it's always beneficial. It just gives a value to your application, definitely, regarding a visa. My goal is to get H-1B visa, but even if you're a citizen or a green card holder, step 3 is always a plus, because I think, and I think I'm not wrong, that every PD likes to see that an applicant pass step 3 as well. I think that's a really good thing to have in your application. If you are able to do it, just go ahead and do it, definitely.
Yeah, and that's especially the case if you have any type of red flag going on, like if you have attempts or you have low scores on step 1 or step 2. Getting step 3 out of the way can help you overcome those red flags. So if you're in that type of position, then it's definitely a great idea to get step 3 done.
Yes. I think we have some more questions.
I think I see one too. This says, I have not received any correspondence from programs in Eris. I don't know if this is normal. I think it's definitely normal. I've been talking with match applicants all day, and some people have already heard from programs. The majority have not yet heard from programs. So I think that you should not be worried at this point. If you have not heard from a single program, it has only been literally not quite 2 days. So you should not be stressed out or worried or thinking that anything is wrong. Definitely give it a little bit of time, let programs continue going through the thousands of applications that they've received, and continue just staying focused on moving forward and getting ready for what's to come next.
Yeah, exactly. You can take my rule. I have a rule in my head. I'm allowed to start panicking in 2 to 3 weeks. Before that, there's no place for panicking. So now we're just waiting. After 3 weeks, if I don't get any, even rejection or invitation, then I'm allowed to start panicking. So you can take my role, and then maybe you'll feel better the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair rule, actually. So hopefully people latch onto that and just stay cool, calm, and collected for at least a couple weeks.
Yeah. Does mentioning the presence of family in the same city as the program threaten the letter of interest? Well, in my opinion, definitely yes, because you definitely have some strong connection with the city and you have an interest in doing residency in that city, in that program. So if I have a family, I would definitely mention it. I don't know if you agree, but I would mention it for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely no harm in mentioning that you have family in the area if you're going to do a letter of interest. I would say that as far as actually strengthening your application, that would only be the case if you are selected for an interview and the program is truly interested in you, knowing that you have family in the area, so you have this other motivation for wanting to come to that area. In that case, I believe it would strengthen your application. So it's definitely, at worst, it's neutral, and at best, it could strengthen your application. Yeah.
Exactly. What points should be mentioned in the letter of interest? Well, maybe you will answer this question better than me, because I still didn't send any letter of interest.
Yes. So the letter of interest, it really does have to be formal, and it should be professional. And I think I mentioned before that it has to be genuine. So in your letter of interest, you're going to want to talk about the program in a way that shows that you have researched the program, and not just that you're copying and pasting something that you found on their website, but that you have read about the program, you further thought about the program, maybe read about some of the residents and where they're from and what they're doing, possibly research projects that are going on, any advancements or new and exciting things that are happening, not just in the program, but in the institution or hospital itself. So showing that you have done your homework is going to demonstrate that you have genuine interest, that you're not just reaching out to every single program on your list with a generic template. So I would say that that is key, demonstrating your knowledge of the program, and then to build on that, explaining why it is that you are so interested in the program, and concluding, with a statement that you're really hoping to hear from them and you'd like to have the chance to further discuss ABC in an interview.
I agree. I just read this comment. I kind of already sent emails, not a lot, just the 3 programs.
Okay.
You will be fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not going to hurt you. It's hard to imagine a situation where a program would be interested in you and then decide, oh no, never mind, how dare they email us? So, maybe don't go forward with sending hundreds more emails, but I wouldn't start to freak out about having sent a handful either.
Yeah, definitely. And I actually want to mention some of the programs are sending some, I think they're like automatic emails requesting some more information. I just got one email from the program with 3 additional questions, but it was obvious that that email was sent to everybody. So if you didn't get that email, don't get scared. I just think they want some more information to help them decide which applicant to choose. They were just basic questions. Why are you interested in this program specifically? The other question was, what are your plans for the future? Are you planning to do fellowship or work as a hospitalist? And the third question was, are you ECFMG certified? And if yes, which pathway? Or if not, when you will be? So I got those 3 questions today.
Yeah, that's another brand new thing that we're seeing this application season, that programs are reaching out with their own kind of sets of supplemental questions. So we had the official ARIS supplemental application, and now programs are following up with these series of questions. So you're not the first person today that I have heard about that from. And it's kind of interesting. It's giving a little bit of insight into what programs really care about. So we're really at Match a Resident, we're really taking a good look at these questions and trying to figure out what they mean for the rest of this season and what they're going to mean for next season. One thing I do want to point out is that if you were a person perhaps who took advantage of residency experts during the main season to work on your ARIS CV or your personal statement, and you've got now this set of questions that's come in, or if you are thinking about starting to prepare your letters of interest, Residency Experts does help with that too. So we're a pretty comprehensive editing service when it comes to any written document related to residency. So don't hesitate to reach out. We had actually one person who was just asked to write a 100-character response. 100 characters is extremely short. And so that makes it seem like, oh, that should be easy. It's actually very challenging to respond to a question effectively in 100 characters. So if you're needing help with that, you can email us at support@residencyexperts.com, and we can talk with you about having some editing done for all these new extras that are coming around this season.
That's really helpful, and that's amazing. It can really help all of us.
It takes the stress off, I think. Yeah.
No, definitely, because now I think every single thing is just stressing us out because it's this time of season. I just wanted to address this question because I also have a similar question. What do they usually prefer to know when they ask about our future fellowship goals? And I will just want to add, in my case, I'm not sure what I'm gonna write because I'm not 100% sure if I want to pursue fellowship or I want to work as a hospitalist, because now both of those options are very nice for me. I like everything. So for me, it's not really easy to answer that question because I still need that 3 years of residency to make that decision. So I'm not sure what they're looking for. Maybe they'll prefer if you want to do a fellowship. Or on the other hand, maybe they'll prefer if you want to work as a hospitalist. So I'm not sure, is there a perfect answer, or they just want to know more about you and about your future plans, and maybe that answer will not even affect your application. I'm really not sure what they want from us. And I'm also not sure what I will answer because I'm not 100%. I didn't 100% decide about that future goal after residency.
Yeah, so obviously no one can answer on behalf of the programs other than the programs themselves in terms of what is the program looking for. But I think that that's not the right way to think about how to answer the questions. I think that what you need to do, absolutely, whether you know what you want to do or you're not sure, is to be 100% honest. I think having the mind frame of what are they looking for and how can I say the right thing to get where I want to be may not land you in a long-term position that you want to be in. You know, matching with a program where you said everything they wanted to hear but wasn't true to you, you have 4 years then to spend with this group of people and in this environment. And I don't think that that is what anybody wants, is to not be in an environment where they're compatible with the teaching style and the different personalities. So my advice to everybody, and even to you, Tanja, is be honest. And if you're not sure, like a lot of times in personal statements, people would ask the same question. Should I say fellowship or should I say hospitalist? I was thinking about maybe opening my own clinic. And I said, it's fine to say that you want to see where residency takes you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's very hard to make a decision about what you want to do in 4 years when you have not started PGY1. And if that's the case for you, then I think you should be honest about it. If you know you're going to pursue like a sports medicine fellowship, that's been your dream since you were 10, then be honest about it. So I think honesty is what they're looking for. At least that's what we would all like to hope.
I'll say I like to keep my options open.
Yeah.
I saw some other questions. Just one sec.
I think I see.
My personal statement has crossed one page and has 3 more lines in the next page, but I have already assigned it. Should I be worried? No, why?
No.
Oh, that's completely fine.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do want it on one page, whether that's because it's their own personal preference or because it's something that their mentor absolutely insisted on, or because they Googled it or their friends told them keep it on one page. But it is okay if you have several sentences on the second page. If you are a strong applicant, no program is going to say, gosh, I love everything about this applicant, if only their personal statement was a few lines shorter, right? Those are not the kinds of things that make or break your application. Personal statements, hugely important. The quality of it, what you say in it, being a few lines over a page, not hugely important. So please don't stress about that.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to highlight, when I was talking about my personal statement, that was specifically my preference, that I wanted to be one page. It's not a rule. It's not going to hurt you if it's a bit longer. I just imagine my personal statement to be one page and to be 4 paragraphs. So it was just my personal preference, nothing else.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we skipped. Some programs I qualify for in match or resident last year did not appear this year. Well, there are several explanations to that. Tiffany, you can.
Is that the whole question?
Yes.
Okay, I was thinking maybe there was more. I'll answer that one. The main reason that would be the case is because the program has updated their criteria. So we call every year, every single program. It it takes a lot of manpower and hundreds of hours, but we do actually personally call every single program and we say, how is your program criteria or your requirements changed from last season to this season? And then we go ahead and we make that update. So that is the primary reason why your program list might have changed from one year to the next. Another reason is if you're applying this year and you also applied last year, your time since graduation has increased by 1 year. And that is a big thing. Programs have requirements or at least strong preferences for time since graduation. So making that change to your profile would definitely change the number of programs that you're seeing.
Thank you. Thank you so much for answering. No problem. I don't see actually any more questions, so I just want to check if we skipped. I had a really starting quote, then erase it and jump right into my story because I was a threat of other account. Well, I think they're asking about some mistake that they're raised in their personal statement. So if you made a mistake in your personal statement that you want to fix, you can still edit it. So you can just go to your ERS account. Your personal statement is open. You can just go ahead and edit it. And then I believe not all the programs already downloaded our application, so they'll just get a new version. So you can go ahead and do it. It's been just less than 2 days since programs are able to see our application. So I really don't believe 100 programs already downloaded your personal statement. So if you have any mistake, you can just fix it.
Yeah, I second that. If you notice something you want to change, go ahead and fix it. And some programs will have already downloaded and they're not going to get the new version. Other programs have not yet downloaded. So it's good to make any changes ASAP, right? The longer you wait, the higher the chances that the program's not going to get the new version. So if you want to change it right now.
Yeah, exactly. There's a question about hospitalist. I'm not sure if we're going to comment that because we have some other topic to discuss today. But hospitalist basically is a physician who is working specifically in the hospital, inpatient settings. And you can just Google it. Just type in Google hospitalist and you will have some explanation. I don't think we want to talk about it right now. I'm not sure if you agree.
Well, I think you gave a really nice, succinct explanation. Yeah, it's just a hospitalist works in the hospital full-time, and a clinician would work in a clinic setting where it's outpatient. So I think that's probably enough.
Yeah.
Do we see any further questions, or is that the last?
I think we actually answered all the questions.
Okay.
Because I was checking it a few times. When should we start sending letters of interest? So we already talked about it, and I think we'll save this video on Metro Resident page, so you can just go ahead and just check the whole video. We were discussing the best option is to wait for 3 to 4 weeks, but if you want to hear the whole discussion, you can just go ahead and watch this video when we post it.
Yes, this video, as we start to wrap up here, this video is going to be posted on Metro Residence IGTV, so you can watch it at any time. And if you had a question that you didn't get to ask or that you think of later, don't forget, you can just shoot us a DM right through Instagram. And we are really on top of those. We're always looking to try to answer your questions right away and as accurately as we can. So we want to just say overwhelmingly, don't ever hesitate if you have any type of question related to the match, related to your application, related to applying, related to interviews. Like we are all about residency and the match application, and we welcome your questions. We're here for you. We're not just a program list. We are meaning to be a support system, and that's what we want to do. So.
And you are definitely supporting system for all of us. I just wanted to add that if you have any questions for me, I'm an applicant this year. So if you have some questions that you think I can answer you, you can also reach out to my Instagram. We'll also leave our Instagram handles in this video. And now I'm seeing more questions.
Yes, I see them.
Do you want to?
Yeah, let's get these last few in.
Yes. You guys have been so helpful during this process. Wasn't able to afford the editing services, but your advice on these lives have been so helpful.
Awesome.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Match Resident is a lifesaver in this process and all this match process. And match process. Yes.
Comments like that, like those make our day. You know, back like with the team, when we see comments like that, we share them with each other, and we do like the high five emojis, and we love that feedback, and it's really what keeps us running. So definitely keep reaching out, and if you love what we're doing, let us know. If you have ideas on something that you want to see, a topic that you want us to cover, just message us or comment on a post, and we will do it. We want to give you the content that you want to see. So don't hesitate to ask.
Yes.
I think there's one more, right?
Yes. So if a program asks question about plans after residency and you want to do a fellowship that is not available at the program, shall I mention it? Well, we already discussed this and we agreed that it's really important to be honest. So if you really want some fellowship, that it's not the hospital, the program is not offering that fellowship, I think I would still mention it, because if it's your dream and if that's something that you really want to do, you should be honest, because you have to spend there 3 or 4 years or longer, and you should definitely go for your goals and for your plans. So I don't think honesty will hurt you, definitely.
Completely agree.
And that is the SLO approval necessary for RMGs for electives. So I don't know what this is.
I do not either.
VSLO.
I don't know.
So
I don't think we know the answer to this question. If you would like to go ahead and DM that to us, then we can definitely research it a little bit, see if it's something that we can answer. Sometimes when it comes to externships or internships, you know, we are really focused on residency. So we know a lot of the answers when it comes to the guidelines for residencies, but not so much when it comes to rotations and electives and things like that. But DM us the question and we'll see what we can dig up if it's possible for us to answer. And
thank you.
I saw one more about LORs. Let's see. Oh, here's another one. Can Match a Resident provide assistance for interview preparation? Yeah, actually, we do have interview preparation as one of our services that's through Match a Resident. So you just have to be a registered user, just with a free membership. You can sign up at matcharesident.com, and then you'll be able to navigate to what we call interview prep. We have 2 different packages that are pretty intensive, really. Even the basic package has got a lot of materials. It's all really specified to residency. And then the premium package is really cool because it includes this perk. And that perk is being able to record yourself answering your choice of residency interview questions. And then an interview expert is going to watch your recording and they're going to give you personal feedback on how you can improve, maybe what you did wrong, what you did really well. So it's really kind of detailed, and it can be a huge help when it comes to getting comfortable for the interviews. So I think in a nutshell, make sure you sign up for a free account with Match a Resident, or if you're already a member, you'll be able to access interview prep right through the website.
Yeah, that sounds really cool, actually. I want to use that. I didn't know about that option with the feedback. It sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely something that it's hard to find. You know, like you said, there's Amazon books and there's a lot of free information that you can find on the web, and that is most certainly helpful. I would recommend that everybody takes advantage of as much advice as you can find out there by Googling and just being on the internet. But something like that, when you're getting feedback on your personal answer from an expert in the industry, that's just invaluable. So yeah, anybody feel free to message if you have questions about that. I'm looking for this one about LORs.
Yeah, I saw that question. Now I can't remember. I think the question was, should I go ahead and send LORs if I didn't hear back from programs?
Yep.
So if you didn't hear back, mostly nobody heard back from programs yet. So if you didn't assign the letter, you should definitely assign the letter. No.
Yeah, I think, yeah, if that is truly what's being asked, like, so if you applied without your LORs and now you have your LORs and you haven't assigned them, if that's what you're meaning, so you haven't heard from programs, but you have LORs that you were missing, yes, definitely go ahead and assign them to your programs. And of course, the sooner you can do that, the better, so that you have more of a chance of programs downloading your application with the LORs.
And I also saw 2 or 3 questions again about letters of interest. And I just want to repeat that we discussed this at the beginning, and you can just go ahead and watch this video after we finish, because it's going to be posted on Match a Resident page. So you can just watch the video again and you'll find all the information.
Absolutely. Right, well, I think that we got to most of the questions. I am really glad to be talking with you again tonight, Dr. Tanja, and I hope that everybody who's tuning in here is following along with Dr. Tanja on the Residency Prep vlog series, because that's really cool too. We're just kind of checking in on a regular basis to follow you and see what happens, and we'll hear about interview invitations and everything going forward. So thank you for
Yes.
taking more of your time to help us out with reaching out to all the IMGs out there. And we're rooting for you, and we're rooting for everybody who's applied this season.
Of course. Thank you for having me again. It's really a pleasure doing this with you.
Awesome. You're very welcome, and I'm sure we will talk again soon. And to everybody out there, have a great night, and we hope to hear from you whenever you can message us. We're here.
Yes. Bye.
All right. Bye.